In this vlog, we will be covering zebras. The camera you see here is a Sony A7S II. Nothing special about it. I mean, it's a great camera, but it's not the focus of this vlog here. So let's start with zebras. What are they? Zebras is an indicator of composite video signals developed by the Institute of Radio Engineers, people much smarter than myself, I'm sure. And what it allows the camera operator to do is determine whether or not our image is overexposed. So here what you're looking at is you are in fact looking at the zebra lines. They are diagonal lines, and I have the zebra set to 100. So at 100, the sensor and the chip that allows the zebra lines to show up, or the signal that tells the camera show and display zebra lines, is going to be less sensitive, meaning that you have to really bump up your iris to get those zebra lines to show up. Let me give you an example. Here I'm going to iris down a bit. It's gone. Well, not quite, but now it's gone. So if I bring it down to 95, they show up again. At 90, even more prominent. At 85, they're almost going away, and you have to be careful here, because at 80, they're going to completely go away. However, that's a little tricky because there's so much light coming in, the zebras are blown out themselves. So you have to iris down a bit. At 70, the iris down again. 75 that is, and at 70, iris down even further. So now, if I bring the indicator back up to 100, the zebras are gone, so I have to iris up. So again, at 100, the sensor that sends the signal to display the zebra lines is going to be less sensitive, meaning that you run a greater risk, or we run a greater risk of the image being overexposed. The setting I like to use is I like 85. I like 85. 85, and it just depends on skin tones, subject matter, and everything else. But for wedding videographers, running gun, 85 seems to work really well. And again, it varies from camera to camera. To review, at 100, think we're being cautious here. We don't want 100 because, again, we run the risk of our image being overexposed. About 85 for most applications of a video will be just fine, just fine. So if you're ever in doubt, I suggest 85. Some people have different preferences. Again, subject matter, skin tones, all things must be considered. Okay, so let's just use this A7 and use this opportunity to find out where the zebra setting is in the A7. S2 that is. I'm sure it's similar across all Alpha series for the A7. So the zebra function is not the first one, it's the second one, first setting. So it must be pretty important. And all you need to do is click on this button here, and you're able to cycle. You can even map it to some of your custom buttons here. So that's the zebra function, and that's how you access it in the A7S II. One last thing I neglected to mention, let's set this up on this table here, is do you see how That eraser that's up there on the ledge, there are no zebra around it, and that's because it's reading the white. The sensor is reading the. You don't want the zebra on your focus of or your point of interest. Mainly because the whole point of the zebra is to let us know when when something is overexposed. So it's pretty difficult to overexpose black. Possible, but fairly difficult. Like if I bump up this setting here, I can start getting it. That's at 25,000 ISO. But black is one of those colors where it absorbs light rather than reflects it, so we're pretty safe. Yeah, just thought I'd add that.